Russia believes that it has good reason to disengage with OPEC and enter into an oil price war with Saudi Arabia. And that is because the US, with its shale oil companies, are now competing in markets that have been typically dominated by Russia. Russia believes that the US is now challenging its stomping ground, whether that's in Europe or whether that's elsewhere. But there's more than that. Russia believes that the US is not competing fairly. Russia believes that the US are using sanctions on Rosneft, they're using sanctions on companies associated with the Nord Stream 2 project that brings Siberian gas into Europe. Russia believes that the US are using these sanctions to amplify or boost the capabilities of its oil companies to compete against Russia. Ironic, given that Russian state supports the Russian oil companies. But nevertheless, Pompeo on the 1st of February, when he was in Belarus, offered to provide Belarus's oil needs. He offered Belarus that the US would be able to provide all of Belarus's oil needs, which was a direct challenge to Russia's hegemony on the market. Russia believes that OPEC have not done enough to push back against the US and push back against the shale oil. It joined in 2016 with OPEC in order to fulfill this goal. However, there have been differences now between Saudi Arabia and between Russia. Saudi Arabia believes that it already tried to push back against the shale oil companies. In 2014, it flooded the market with oil with other OPEC nations in a bid to drive out the US shale oil, to outprice the shale oil companies by bringing the price down and making it not profitable at all for any shale company to operate. But the shale oil companies were resilient. Russia wants more of these measures implemented in order to push back against the shale oil companies. But Mohammed bin Salman in Saudi Arabia, who needs Trump, who needs Kushner, who needs the US on board, and who also needs the oil price to stay relatively high in order to fund his economic diversification program, has not been keen to go on the attack once more. And this is what has angered Russia. Russia is essentially saying the threat from the US is real. If OPEC won't stand with me, then I'll take measures into my own hands. And this is why we see Russia flooding the market. Saudi Arabia believes that if Russia floods the market, then its own market share is at risk. So in order to rescue its market share, it's also flooding the market as well as a damage limitation mechanism.